It's nice to see you. Have a seat! Marvel just spent all day revealing the cast of Avengers Doomsday, and we've got all the info you need right here. One of the bigger mysteries about the recent Marvel Studios movies hasn't been where the plot is going, but really what the plot even is, with phases jam-packed full of new characters that haven't really met each other yet, all exploring a different corner of the MCU. It's been hard to nail down what all of this is building to. And while we still don't know exactly who the Avengers are in the MCU right now, though this summer's Thunderbolts may clarify things, we do at least know who's going to be in the movie, thanks to a long video posted by Marvel on March 26th. These are the actors who have a seat at the table for Avengers Doomsday. Kicking things off in apparently not alphabetical fashion is Chris Hemsworth, who needs no introduction. Thor, the God of Thunder, was most recently seen in Thor: Love and Thunder, a movie which featured Thor, another Thor, Thor's bear behind, and Russell Crowe. It wasn't the best reviewed Marvel movie, but we never doubted for a second that we'd be seeing the MCU stalwart since 2011 again.
I'm still worthy.
Next up is a new face who's so far been unseen in the MCU, outside of a trailer spot or two, which is appropriate because Vanessa Kirby plays the Invisible Woman of the new Fantastic Four. We don't think it's a spoiler to say she's making the jump to the Avengers follow-up, but we're certainly excited to see how, and we're of course excited to see her take on the role of Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, when Fantastic Four First Steps premieres July 25th, 2025. Despite the lukewarm reception Captain America Brave New World got, there was no doubt that Sam Wilson, the former Falcon and current Captain America, would be in the mix for Avengers Doomsday. Anthony Mackie has been part of the MCU since 2014's Captain America the Winter Soldier, and he's certain to be one of the leaders of the Avengers as they face down the threat of Doom. Mackie's title counterpart in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sebastian Stan has taken Bucky in some interesting new directions, showing up briefly as an aspiring congressman in Captain America Brave New World, and taking on the role of put-upon leader in Thunderbolts. Given that Bucky's been around since Captain America the First Avenger in 2011, we're definitely curious where he'll go in Doomsday.
So what's our plan? Great. So no plan.
The sudden, tragic death of Chadwick Boseman led to some necessary MCU shakeups, including Letitia Wright's Shuri taking on the mantle of Black Panther in the sequel Wakanda Forever. It stands to reason that Shuri's Black Panther will be on the core Avengers team here, given that King T'Challa was working his way up to a similar role before his off-screen demise. Paul Rudd got a tiny little chair in the announcement video because he's Ant-Man, get it? Rudd's been playing Scott Lang, the hero who can become tiny or giant, since 2015's Ant-Man, and over time he became a major member of the Avengers, playing a very significant role in 2019's Endgame. The last we saw him, he was fighting tooth and nail against Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but maybe that's best forgotten.
That was... I don't know what to say.
Though he's been a part of the MCU since 2021, Doomsday is likely to just be Wyatt Russell's second film entry in the franchise. That's because he was introduced as the government's preferred Captain America replacement, John Walker, in the Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He lost out on the Cap job to Sam Wilson, so he hasn't appeared since until showing up as US Agent in the upcoming Thunderbolts.
Back.
If you missed Black Panther Wakanda Forever, then you didn't catch Tenoch Huerta Mejia's only MCU appearance so far as Namor, the centuries-old ruler of the undersea kingdom of Talokan. Namor was the villain in that one, leading an all-out assault on Wakanda, but by movie's end, he had become an ally, so it's reasonable to think that he'll help in the fight against Doom. Like Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach's entrance into the MCU won't come until July 2025, with the release of Fantastic Four First Steps. Bachrach will be heard far more than he'll be seen, given that he's playing Ben Grimm, aka the Rockman, who calls himself simply The Thing. Given that Doom is the longtime arch-nemesis of the FF, it only makes sense that Marvel's first family will be around for Doomsday. It feels like it's been forever since Bruce and Carol welcomed Shang-Chi to the circus. One of the more well-received new additions to the MCU has been sitting on the sidelines since 2021. Now, finally, for reasons we can't wait to see this movie explain, Shang-Chi is being called into action to face off with Dr. Doom. We'll see if those rings of his have anything to do with it, or if any of his family, friends, and enemies are coming along for the ride. At least so far, Natasha Romanoff's death in Endgame has stuck, leaving just one active Black Widow in the MCU, Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova. In addition to 2021's solo Black Widow movie, Pugh appeared as Belova in the Disney Plus Hawkeye series and is soon to be one of the leads in Thunderbolts. It seems like that film, set to release on May 2nd, 2025, could be a pretty important building block toward Doomsday. Kelsey Grammer is back as Frasier Crane in the Paramount Plus reboot of his iconic series Frasier, and since that got cancelled in January, he may as well also be back as Hank McKoy, aka Beast from X-Men The Last Stand. You actually may have already seen him back in his big blue glory in the post-credit stinger of The Marvels, if you're one of the not many people who checked that movie out. If you didn't, surprise! Beast is not only coming back, he's already back, last seen tending to Monica Rambeau with the help of her mother Maria, after she apparently crossed through dimensions at the climax of The Marvels.
You are now in a reality parallel to your own, which is, of course, impossible.
Where he'll go next is literally anyone's guess, but all roads apparently lead to Doctor Doom. Hey, look at that, another Thunderbolts cast member. In fact, Thunderbolts will be Lewis Pullman's first ever MCU appearance as Bob, also known as the Sentry, an immensely powerful superhero who also contains within him the hyper-powerful villain, the Void. By all indications, the Sentry and/or the Void will be the big bad of Thunderbolts, but Bob has also been a hero in the comics, so he could take on that alignment in Doomsday. Danny Ramirez is another MCU cast member who hopped on with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, appearing as Joaquin Torres, an Air Force captain who worked with the title characters to bring down the Flag Smashers. By the time Brave New World rolled around, Torres was the new Falcon, going down with a serious injury during a mission. It looks like he'll be back in fighting shape for the battle with Doom.
Anyway, all we can do now is sit tight and just chill. Sometimes there's nothing to do until there's something to do.
We're now up to 3 out of 4 members of the Fantastic Four, with Joseph Quinn, who's playing the hot-headed Human Torch, Johnny Storm, in First Steps. One lingering question fans are sure to have is how the FF, who appear to be living in the futuristic 1960s in First Steps, will get to the present-day MCU to participate in the events of Doomsday. Doctor Doom does have a time machine, so maybe that explains it. David Harbour made an unforgettable entrance into the MCU in 2021's Black Widow as Alexei Shostakov. He's the Red Guardian, the Russian super soldier equivalent of Captain America. Harbour will be returning to the role, once again serving as a surrogate father to Yelena Belova. While serving as a team member in Thunderbolts, he'll probably be boisterously doing the same in Doomsday.
I want to break something.
Winston Duke made a lot out of just a little screen time as rival tribe leader M'Baku in the original Black Panther in 2018. He became such a fan favorite that he got a considerably larger role in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, as well as small roles in battle scenes in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. It's unclear just how much M'Baku would do in Doomsday, but we can be assured Duke will make it count. Another name, another Thunderbolt. Hannah John Carmen's Ghost was introduced to the MCU as the villain of Ant-Man and the Wasp in 2018. A former S.H.I.E.L.D. operative, Ghost turned out to be one of those classic misunderstood villains who was just looking for a cure for her quantum displacement. She's since come back over to the good guys' side, joining the Thunderbolts and assumedly helping out the Avengers. One of the longest tenured MCU actors still in the mix, Tom Hiddleston is coming back once again as Loki, the god of mischief. The character's certainly come a long way from his devious early days, serving as the main villain of the original Avengers.
Mobius, it's me.
I don't know you.
With his self-titled Disney Plus series, Loki has become an out-and-out hero in his own right, or at least an anti-hero, and he's sure to be mad that Doom is stealing his signature green duds. It'd be a pretty eye-popping surprise to see Patrick Stewart's name in an MCU casting announcement, if he hadn't already done it once before. Stewart returned to the role of Professor X, who he played in Fox's X-Men films starting way back in 2000 in 2022 for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Yes, that was an alternate universe version of Charles Xavier, so we'll just have to wait and see if this Chuck is the real deal this time.
And the next time you feel like showing off, don't.
Now this one is a shocker. 85-year-old Ian McKellen hasn't donned Magneto's telepath-proof helmet since 2014's X-Men Days of Future Past, largely leaving the role to his younger replacement from First Class, Michael Fassbender. But he's back, possibly in another example of a powerful villain who's jealous of Doom stealing their evil thunder. Alan Cumming played Nightcrawler exactly one time on film, in X2, X-Men United. Like many, he was replaced with another younger actor, Cody Smith-McPhee, who played Kurt Wagner in a total of 3 subsequent films. But clearly, Kevin Feige had to have the original back, and it's no surprise. Cummings' Nightcrawler was pretty unforgettable. Jennifer Lawrence? Nah. Once again, Marvel is saving the first for the best, bringing Rebecca Romijn back to reprise her role as Sly shapeshifter Mystique. While she had a sympathetic side, Romijn's take on Mystique was considerably more malevolent than Lawrence's.
My family tried to kill me, you pathetic meat sack.
Mystique was also totally devoted to Magneto, until he abandoned her in X-Men The Last Stand anyway. Will that awkwardness be addressed, ignored, or explained away with multiverse hand-waving? Odds seem pretty even. The last time we saw James Marston's version of Cyclops in X-Men The Last Stand, he was having quite the rough time. After the apparent death of Jean Grey, he had fallen into a serious depression until he saw her. They kissed and he apparently died at her hands, but it's unlikely Doomsday will get into all that. And generally, the third X-Men movie is probably better left ignored anyway. That's what Days of Future Past did for sure. Look who's about to make a name for himself. After more than 15 years of trying to get a Gambit film off the ground, Channing Tatum finally appeared as the Cajun mutant in 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine. Lots of fans assumed it was just a one-off, a fun nod to a long-in-production project that was cursed to never be made. And yet, here he is, ready to throw down with Doom, which means we get to hear his accent again. Rejoice!
What do you do exactly?
Charge the playing cards. Make them go boom.
Well, this one we all knew was coming. The fourth and final member of the Fantastic Four, Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, will be stretching into the mix in Doomsday. Of course, it'd have to. There's no one Dr. Doom hates more than that accursed Richards, whom he blames for every misfortune he's ever had. But it was Reed who warned Doom that his experiment to save his mother's soul was using faulty math. Doom tested it anyway, causing the scars that led to him wearing his trademark metal mask. Finally, there was a name that had already been announced, Robert Downey Jr., who revealed back at Comic-Con 2024 that he was taking on a new MCU role as Victor Von Doom himself. Unlike everyone else listed, Downey actually appeared in the announcement video, walking to the chair with his name on it, sitting down, and turning to the camera to make a shush gesture. Given that he kicked off the MCU as Tony Stark in Iron Man, fan theories have been going wild about whether Doom might be connected to Downey's other metal masked character. At this point, it's anyone's guess if that's the case. Avengers Doomsday is scheduled for release May 1st, 2026.